strange and marvelous gift.
She does have a gift.
Isn't that a weird thing?
Welcome to Mind Body. Welcome to Mind Body Stuff. I hit record a moment too soon. Bernice, fun fact about Bernice. She can weigh a suitcase and be within 2 pounds? 1 pound?
Oh, a pound or two.
A pound or two.
I just pick it up and I say, oh, this is 53.
Yeah, and it usually is.
About 53, 52, which is it's not a helpful gift. I don't think anyone
should. It is
should.
when we travel, it is. It's very helpful.
We
show up at the airport and we know. We know
well, this one's overweight. This is 54.
Super helpful.
I can make a business from that. I'll just weigh your bags as you come in with my arms.
Oh, man. I feel kind of hyper today.
You know why she feels hyper?
Right.
Because I gave you that mocha.
All you judgers, quiet down right now.
Mocha.
Yeah, I had a mocha.
She had a mocha, but there was hardly any coffee in it. Like, I even had a sip.
I drink coffee.
I had a sip.
While pregnant.
Yeah, and she's
fine. But my kids are fine as well.
Her kids
You've seen
totally
a couple
fine.
of them. They all seem normal.
But the mocha, though, it actually really wasn't much coffee. It was mostly sugar.
Wow. I revved me up.
Welcome to my
and
world,
Frankie,
baby.
too.
Look how much I still...
flips
you know
right
how
now.
much I have left in this cup?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I drink my whole...
And I'm hot. I feel like, just like... You know when you have sugar, you guys, and you feel like a flushed feeling is coming into your face? That's what I feel like.
I drank 16 ounces of sugar just now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel crazy.
She feels good.
I feel something.
I feel good.
I knew that I would.
Thanks for listening today.
Welcome back
to
Mind Body Stuff. I'm Kaylee.
I'm Bernice.
How's it going?
How are ya?
How are ya? What did we talk about last week? Oh, storytelling.
Oh, that's a big one.
I liked that book.
I really liked it myself, too.
I thought, wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, it rocked my world.
Rocked my world.
I love the idea of stories.
I do, too.
They're not an idea. Obviously, a story's a story. And the strength in a story.
Yeah, there's a lot of strength
so if you haven't listened to it,
go back and listen.
You better go listen to it.
You skipped a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. You may not think, like, even if I saw that, I'm like, storytelling? I don't know. But, really storytelling in the context of who we are, how we can rewrite them for ourselves. How we can rewrite them for ourselves.
Yeah.
Change the trajectory of our lives.
Okay. I promise we'll get it together in a second. Okay. Okay. We can do this.
It's too much sugar today is what's happening.
Oh my gosh, I feel crazy. Wow.
But we have a really big topic today.
Okay, we do. Okay, today's topic is going to be on boundaries. Okay, I can do this. Wow, okay. Today's topic is going to be on boundaries. Boundaries. And how does that make sense in the context of our Q4 release of Let Love In? So, Let Love In. In my mind, we're anyone who's going to go to our workshop, I don't want to ruin this for you, but one thing that we've been thinking a lot about with Let Love In is letting love into our lives, so accepting love, also giving love out, and then feeling the love that we have for ourselves. So kind of looking at these different relationships, these 3 different ways, in, out, and then with yourself. Within ourselves. So for some of us, it's much easier to just like give love. And that's, a lot of people find their worth and their value in giving love.
Yeah, I was thinking of a few people the other day who are very good at giving love.
Yes.
But feel kind of empty when they can't give
When they can't give love.
And they have a very hard time accepting love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who...
the people I was thinking of they feel love for themselves too. You know what I mean? Like they have that love and they can give love, but they have a hard time accepting love from others. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I think it's a really interesting question to start to ask ourselves, okay, where do I feel strongest in those relationships? Like giving love, receiving love, self-love. And then the question then I think, at least for me, is, well, how do I still be a loving person? How am I still giving and receiving love, but also having boundaries?
Good question.
It's like she's never heard this concept for this podcast before.
But
Thank you for your reaction.
Yes. Well, I'm mimicking the listeners right now.
Oh, yes.
Like, I'm like, wow.
Isn't that an interesting question, though? Because sometimes also I feel in the context of maybe being a female as part of it, or being part of a community that there is a lot of talk about love, which is something that's very important to the ULA community. Mm-hmm. But there also is a place for boundaries, and I think that's a really important thing to remember, because ultimately, when we create healthy boundaries, I think that can be a form of love.
Yes, because then we have the energy to then give and receive love, and there's not any sort of confusion about relationship, I think.
Right.
You know, where suddenly it's like, well, I didn't know you expected that, or
yes,
I didn't know that bothered you, or, you know, all those things that come in with boundary problems.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, sometimes I think it can be difficult too, because I'm the type of person who I don't like establishing boundaries. Mm-mm. Like it's very hard for me to establish boundaries.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, I really like to approach almost all of my relationships with very just kind of boundless, energetic interaction. Mm-hmm. So I try not to put any kind of confinement on the relationship, and just kind of let it develop and grow, and just manifest as it would. But because I don't really put any boundaries on it, then what I've noticed in a lot of my relationships is then we hit a point of like confusion or disappointment, or I don't know, like maybe even resentment, when I start to feel like, okay, whoa, it's time for me to put some boundaries on this relationship. And then, so obviously it's something that has made me feel like I need to put boundaries. And then when that person feels the boundary come up, it's hard to understand, okay, so now where does love still fit into this relationship?
Yes.
It's really difficult for me. It's something that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. And depending on the other person's issues with love, they might suddenly feel that boundary, and then either they might just leave, or they might just stay and not do anything about it.
Right.
They might try to give you more love, maybe. I'm not sure, you know.
Right.
But it gets into that sort of confusing realm of then, because you're in relationship with someone else, so then you're bouncing that boundary that came up, and the other person's like, how do they react to boundary?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. What would you say your initial style is when meeting someone, or do you think it's person by person?
I think I have boundaries in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm friendly. I think I'm pretty friendly. I mean, I'm not overtly too friendly, but I think I'm friendly, and but I'm always cautious in the beginning.
But doesn't this kind of sound like that podcast we did about trust? And so now my because usually in the beginning I just like totally have trust for people.
Yes.
And then
you lose it.
And
because then you get to know the person. Well, not to say it's not. I mean, everyone.
I don't know if it's just getting to know them, but isn't that interesting that you kind of don't trust people totally off the bat, and so you go into relationships with more boundaries set. I wonder if boundaries are directly related to trust issues.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take that one step further, because I feel like a lot of the reasons that we either that we kind of hold back love, or don't receive love, or don't give it out, is because of trust.
Yes.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yes. Yeah. Say that again one more time.
I know when she doesn't, because she's like, yes, her eyes are like darting around the room.
Yes.
Okay, so if boundaries directly relate to trust, so like if you don't necessarily trust people right off the bat, then you have a boundary up.
Yeah.
I trust people. I trust every single person that I meet. And then as soon as they lose my trust, then a boundary goes up.
Yeah.
So, but don't you think that relates to love? Because let's just take a person who's like, I love being myself. I love being by myself. I am totally happy being isolated. It's like, well, are you, or are you just not trusting love?
Right. Then that's a very important question to ask.
So yourself. It's like, if you have a boundary up around yourself and you're like, no, I'm happy in my little bubble here. I'm happy like being isolated. This is where I'm most comfortable. Is it actually not the most comfortable place, but it's the safest place for you because
you're protected.
You're protected because love may feel unsafe.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I agree.
So maybe boundaries and trust and love, they all kind of have something to do with one another.
And they all sound like they're interwoven.
That's what it is. That's fascinating. That's supposed to be my takeaway point from this. Don't you think they're all related?
I think they're all totally related.
And maybe some people have boundaries just because they're professional or, like...
Yeah.
Which I think there's definitely a place for that. And that's...
Or maybe they've learned boundaries.
Yeah, they've learned boundaries.
They've been burned a few
times. Maybe it has nothing to do with love. I don't know. But I think for me, because everything that I do is operated... from a personal standpoint, that I probably could work on that a little bit, is having boundaries up more quickly in the beginning without it needing to be personal.
Yeah, and without it disturbing the natural course of a relationship, the beginning of a relationship. Exactly. Because maybe you think maybe you learn somewhere that in the beginning, if you have boundaries or if you're not totally open, then you're not going to have anybody.
Then they won't like
you, or you
like,
won't have a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe you learn that at some point.
Sure.
And, which makes sense, something happened and you're like, I just have to be really open, and then...
Or I just like being that way.
Or you like being that way, right. But then you get into trouble down the line.
I do.
Because it's like you opened your garage door.
Yeah.
And it was winter.
Uh-oh. Then what happens?
Winter. I'm having trouble with the winter transition.
She's like,
and then the snow came in and it got cold, but it looked pretty outside. So you're like, just open the garage door all the way open. But it all came in, and then you're like, oh no.
This is cold.
This is super cold. Like, I didn't even know it was going to be this. Right. And so you're like, let's close the garage door. But winter's like, hey, you put the door open. You said I could come in.
Frosty has his feelings hurt.
Frosty's like, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, like everything we've been talking about in all these podcasts, I think it always gets down to balance. Mm-hmm. There has to be some type of balance.
Yeah.
Because just like,
I agree.
Teeter-totter. But of course, the beauty of life is we get to learn all these things and kind of, and correct them. Like, or maybe in this relationship, I want to be totally open, and I'm open to risk there. But
right.
At least you're doing it.
Right.
You're not like, well, this something could feel bad in a year. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm open to that right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I do think everything comes down to boundaries. I agree with that. I also just feel like, I don't know, I think part of my thing is that I don't like things to just be like on the surface. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I'm like, well, when we have boundaries in place, I can't tell you what I really feel and think.
Right. Right.
And then I'm like, how are we supposed to have a deep and lasting connection if we are guarded? So for me, as somebody who's like, well, how are we going to get there with boundaries up? Because if there is where I want to get in this relationship, how am I supposed to get there with boundaries up?
But maybe you just have little boundaries.
Yeah, and that's
it's like a teeny fence or something. Yeah. Like, it's like, those little houses with a little white picket fence around.
It's like you could climb over it.
Right, where I'm always like, what's the purpose of that fence? But, it is a little teeny fence, so you got to kind of think about it.
Yeah, you could get in.
I have to decide whether I want to step over it or not, you know what I mean? Or if I want to go find the gate.
Yeah.
It's not like a giant fence where you're like, oh, I guess I can't go in there at all, or I have to ask them before I go in.
Totally.
So, I like the idea of it being like a mini fence, fence, a picket fence, small picket fence.
Yeah, totally.
And you're just like, oh, maybe I could, come in here.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Or maybe I don't want to, but I can think about it. Mm-hmm. A teeny bit of guard,
right?
But not too much of a guard.
Balance.
Yeah, balance. I think it's important with balance, and boundaries manifest in all different aspects of our lives. I think in terms of how we are as friends, how we are with our partners in relationship, in our intimate relationships, how we are at work.
Mm-hmm. Would you say you, at this point in your life, have boundaries with Mike?
No, I don't have many boundaries with Mike anymore.
Right. Yeah,
I tried, but then he kind of busted
them all. He broke him down.
Yeah, he broke them down, or
yeah,
or you can pretend to have them. But after knowing someone that long,
yeah,
it's kind of like, oh, there's that thing again, and I'm like, what thing?
Right.
Oh, that thing, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to know that person so well, I think. I don't know what you guys think in terms of long-term relationship.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's probably the case for every relationship.
Yeah,
I think some people always have boundaries.
Yeah.
But I do wonder how much, going back to this balance concept, and then tying it into Let Love In, which is our theme for Q4, I keep going back to some of that trust piece. These boundaries, I do think in an intimate relationship, so let's not talk professional relationship, because obviously I understand that, but in an intimate relationship, what would you say the value of boundaries are?
In a long-term intimate relationship?
Yeah.
Or a short-term one?
Long-term.
Or one of my short-term ones.
Yeah, right.
Should I talk about one of those?
I find it interesting, because with Rob, I feel distant from him if I have a boundary up.
Yeah, I think it doesn't work.
But I wonder if that's just a personality thing, I don't know.
What would Rob say?
About boundaries?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think he has many boundaries either.
I think he has boundaries when you first meet him.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, I thought we were talking about long-term intimate relationships.
Yeah, but I was just thinking of him as a human.
Oh, yeah. He has way more boundaries than I do.
Yeah.
Initially. But I think
I don't think he has boundaries anymore with you.
No, God, no. No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, this one's going really well.
I don't know. You guys should think about this. I'm thinking but I have worked with couples in long-term relationships who do have very rigid boundaries around certain things.
Does it still work in their marriage, or are they in therapy because of these boundaries?
They're in therapy because of these boundaries. Okay, so and they can't talk about them.
Oh, they can't. Ooh.
Very difficult for them.
Like what? Can we hear one?
Well, a lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes it's about sexuality or, in terms of the frequency of sex.
Oh,
maybe the type of sex that they're interested in having.
And those are hard boundaries for one of the people who's
exactly.
No, I will not. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that becomes difficult, and it becomes not hard for them to talk about.
Yes.
Without help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that gets back to our sexuality podcast in an interesting way. But, in terms of long-term relationship, you think that sexuality would be sort of processed out or, but sometimes in long-term relationship, it gets almost more complicated.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of boundaries around that I've noticed in terms of couples counseling.
But can they get to a place of can the issue go away with just kind of establishing and understanding each other's boundaries?
Mm-hmm. I think they can accept each other's boundaries.
Right. Yes. And maybe
then they can decide if they're willing to accept them.
Oh, sure.
As me as an individual, can I accept this boundary with you about what you have about this part of sex
but
or
then
whatever.
It might just, then they might have to just say, you know what, this has nothing to do with love. This isn't about love.
Yes.
These are just personal things that are important to me. It doesn't change the way that I feel about you.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's like...
And so both partners have to determine if that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that would be the purpose of therapy, really, at that point, is just, can we open the dialogue and then see if we're accepting of each other's boundaries in this area. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and what an interesting thing to do, even just like, thinking about that in terms of any type of relationship. Like, are your boundaries, your hard boundaries and my hard boundaries, are they like...
Do they match? Or if they don't match, can we still function with them?
Because I have a hard time feeling really connected to people who have hard boundaries.
I kind of have hard boundaries. I guess my boundaries aren't that hard.
Your boundaries aren't that hard.
No,
like
they're not that hard.
Talking, you can just kind of feel someone when you're trying to engage and you bump up against their boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for me, that's really hard to figure out how to then continue the relationship or advance the relationship when I'm like, I just kind of like bumped up against it.
Yeah, and we don't go there.
Yeah, I find it like, I don't know, I find it tricky.
And again, that goes back to another piece, communication.
Yeah.
That's another big piece in relationship and boundaries and trust and love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like one thing that I'm dealing with like personally is I have a family member who we kind of have an issue right now. And one of the, like a really hurtful thing that this person said to me once was when our relationship was struggling like it is right now for similar reasons. But they used ULA against me. And they said, well, in ULA, you always talk about like, being open and loving and all of this stuff, but like you can't figure out how to do it with your family. And it really like, it was like really painful to hear that, because then of course I'm like, oh my gosh, like, am I a phony? Am I just saying this stuff, but I don't know how to actually live it? But I think what I was doing or I'm trying to do is put up a boundary. Mm-hmm. And so then when this person is bumping against the boundary, they're feeling like there's a lack of love.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so that's why I keep coming back to this whole, like, let love in a boundary. Like, how do we still consider ourselves loving, good people who are open and who are, capable of love, giving and receiving, but also just sometimes we have these people in our lives that we need to put up a boundary with.
Yeah, and I think part of that is communication, about owning, like letting the person know, yep, there's a boundary here now, and I'm going to tell you why. For me. You don't have to agree with it.
And I think that's hard for me because I have a hard time setting up boundaries, and so then it's hard for me to talk about them because I don't necessarily like doing relationship with boundaries.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. That's
because I just want it to feel really open and loving.
Right. So the relationship doesn't really feel good.
It doesn't feel good because I'm like, I don't know how to I don't know how to talk to you with a boundary there, because how much can I be honest about? How much can I, how much can we trust each other through this boundary? Because sometimes boundaries, again, I'm going back to what I talked about just a few minutes ago, like, I think that there is also an element of trust in there. So if I put up a boundary, it's usually because there's a trust thing happening. So then, I don't know, it kind of throws me a little bit when I have to put up a boundary, and then figuring out how to maintain a relationship with a boundary in it.
And how you communicate that too.
Totally.
And especially because, well, in your case, because there hasn't been a boundary. Mm-hmm. Some of the people are like, well, why is there a boundary? So then they get mad too. They get mad or hurt. That depends on the personality. Some people will get hurt. Some people will get mad. And so it's hard for them to understand why is there a boundary now.
Totally. Yeah.
Which I would say then would be the time to say, I'm doing it now because of this.
Right.
And this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's neither right nor wrong. It's just about me. This is how I feel.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Because people always attach so much right or wrong stuff. Like, well, that's wrong that you feel that way. And it's like, well, it may not make sense to you.
Well, I think it's, and maybe not right or wrong. I'm just trying to think about my personal situation. Not right or wrong, but like, you completely misunderstand how I feel or how I see this situation.
Right.
you know? So
and
it's
you can
kind of
say,
like,
I feel that you misunderstand.
Totally.
I just, when I communicate with you, it feels like, you're not understanding where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, totally. It's just interesting stuff. So what about you? What about this did you want to talk about for this podcast?
Oh, I was thinking, in terms of, because I just seen this quote, like, when is enough enough? You know, and I was thinking about when is enough enough, because in our society, we're always taught, you know, give it your all.
Yeah. Oh, you know? Sure.
And sometimes enough is enough. Like, just doing enough is enough.
Yeah.
You know, and people, we were just thinking about that the other day with work, and people were, you know, contacting and wanting to talk and about various things. And I asked Kaylee, I'm like, well, could I just like email or something like that
instead of calling back?
Instead of calling back. But to me, calling, well, I should respond with my all.
Right.
But Kaylee was so good in saying, well, no, we're leaving for Tulum tomorrow and we have all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And of course, it's okay to say enough. To just doing enough is enough.
Right.
So sending an email and kind of asking about, you know, fill me in on wherever people are at.
Email me. Yeah. And honestly, and I think that's what you bring up is such a good point, because it's hard sometimes to have a business, or in your case, be a very big part of a business who really identifies with being connected and loving and open and communicative and supportive.
We're
and so
modeling that.
So for me, it is, I've many, many, many times gotten myself in a situation of over committing, or getting myself in situations that feel uncomfortable because I have tried to say, well, ULA stands for this. So of course I have to call you back because you asked me to call you back. But setting up that boundary of saying, no, this is my boundary, and I love and I care about you as a person, but I also need to take care of myself. I need to take care of my family. This is my last day with my family. I don't want to be on the phone for work at 7:00 at night. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of this, like, this is giving love back to yourself. And it's not saying like, I don't love you and I'm not open to this relationship, but I have to give myself what I need in this situation. And that, I think it's really hard. Those types of situations are hard for me, because then also my brain goes, well, what are they going to think about me? Are they going to think that I don't care? Are they going to, you know, like, what are they going to, are they going to, like,
or does it reflect on the business?
Is it going to hurt their feelings?
Or does it,
does it reflect on the business?
Philosophy of the business?
Exactly. But I think that, I think it's healthy to be able to say no, like, in order to be my best person for all of the people that I need to be a person to, including myself, I have to figure out when to say, basically, enough is enough.
Enough is enough. And
you can email me your concerns, and I will email you back.
And I will, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. No,
And I think, it is hard, because trying to maintain the feel of a personal, small, inclusive, like, connected community, but also creating boundaries.
Yes, creating boundaries.
You know, like, I don't know. Those are hard things to I don't know, to bring together for me.
Oh, yeah. And I think, yeah, it is. But I think we're always modeling, whether it's for our children or with our friends or at work, you know, everybody is, you know, in terms of, you know, how we should be in the world. And we talk about, you know, taking care of ourselves. So we have to model that, and boundaries are part of that.
And I think a lot of people have, a lot of people feel like I have to do everything that anyone would want, because I want them to like me, and I want them to feel loved by me. And I think maybe especially as women, we feel this, like, nurturing, this caretaking thing that we have to be in order to be loving people,
in order to be lovable
and loving, the receiving and giving sides of love. But I don't think that that's always the healthiest approach.
No, and again, you're emptying your bucket.
And
then where are you filling your bucket up again?
Totally.
And I think, almost getting back to boundaries again, for you, I think sometimes is you open up and then your bucket gets dumped.
Totally.
And you're all like, yo! somebody dumped my bucket.
I know. And then I get super like upset because I can go for a while. Because my role in most of my relationships, like friendships, not with you, but with a lot of other like female relationships, is I am usually a caretaker in relationships. You know, I have a lot of friendships where I'm like, sure, you can come over to my house for dinner. Like I'll cook for you. I'll do everything for you. I'll open up my work to you, my life to you, everything that I possibly can. And then I get to a point where I'm like, uh-oh. I have given and given and given and given, and now I feel empty. You know? And so it's healthier for me, and it's healthier for my relationships to figure out when I can put those boundaries up so that I maintain an equilibrium that feels good for both the receiver and the giver on both sides. I mean, you know.
That's a very good point.
And I need to understand that if I create a boundary, it's not because I'm not loving or that I don't love them or that I'm, you know, not acting in a kind way. It's just I need to put up a boundary. And now having like a third kid on the way, I can't take care of all my friends anymore.
No, that's
take care of my family.
I love that Kaylee's having so many children because I've been doing it for quite a long time now. And it's just great to have another person that understands, and not that when you know, some people have big careers and don't have children, or whatever, but it's just great to have Kaylee on board, because it's hard to talk to people who aren't dumping a lot of stuff out into their little family, you know, and then they're like, well, why didn't you come for, you know, I had a sausage fry the other night.
Sausage fry? How does your brain even think of that stuff? A sausage fry?
I had a sausage fry and you didn't come.
Who fries a sausage?
Or we had book club. I had book club. I used to be so involved with book club. I love book club, and they're great book club members. But you guys, I'm so tired. Like, I love my work. I love what I do at ULA. I love my family. I love all the things I do. And I literally feel like sometimes at the end of the day, I really have no energy.
Totally.
Or I just want to lay in front of the TV and play my word game.
You love that word game.
I play my word game.
Yeah.
And that's me filling up my bucket.
Totally.
But if people haven't experienced that, or maybe their bucket, maybe they just got a lot of water. I don't know.
Sure.
In their bucket, but
yeah. But I do think, I do think that figuring out that, maybe the balance of that giving, receiving, and the self love,
the triad.
So the triad. So I think that we should try to seek balance and equilibrium within that triangle as well, because I don't think it's healthy to only feel like you're a worthy human being if you're giving out love constantly. And I don't think that, you know, you have to. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree.
Okay. Yeah. You have a look on your face. I'm like, I don't think any of those, if they're too strong on one side, I don't think that is the healthiest approach to love ever, because you see those people who are like, I will give love and give love and give love and give love, and that is what makes me lovable.
Right. Or the takers.
I will take love and take love and take love because I don't believe in my self-love enough that I have to hear it and receive it from everybody else to know that I am lovable.
Right.
I also think it's really interesting when there are people who feel like this little island, like I only need to love myself.
Yes.
I don't need to love anyone. I don't need anybody else's love either. Those are dangerous. But as long as I love myself, I am my life, I am an island, and I am safe here.
Yes.
You know, so I think any amount of when it's too strong in any of those three ways, that it just means we could probably work on that a little bit.
Yeah, and it probably feels out of balance. It gets out of balance, you know, depending on where we are in our lives too. Sometimes, whether we're busy in a busy career, even when we're busy in retirement. You know what I mean?
I think especially when we have small kids.
With small children. I mean, there's all these things where you suddenly can get out of balance, and you're like, uh-oh, I feel like I'm out of balance somehow here in this triad of giving, receiving, or self-love, this holding of the self-love.
Yeah.
And I think even in terms of imagining them as all buckets, you know, and they all have to tip a little. You always have to give a little, you tip a little bit out, and they straighten back up. And, you know, if you're a giver, because some people are just great givers, just make sure you're open to receiving too, or that you have friends that are willing to offer you receiving gifts. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like just one example, we travel a lot for Ula, and I have no problem like taking charge. I book all the hotels, I book the car, I drive the car, I pick where we're going to eat. I usually do it all. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. I'm used to that role and it feels familiar, but it actually was really nice to travel with Julie to California because she's the same way as me. And so there were some things that she just totally took control of. And I was like, oh,
I don't have to think about that.
Wow, that's nice. Somebody else is doing this for me.
Right.
Like, or somebody else has a plan. Instead of being like, what do you guys want to do? I don't know. Then I'm like, oh, or I don't care. But it's like, but still, if you say, I don't care, I still have to figure it out. I don't care either.
Right. And you're still giving energy into care. You're still, someone has to make a decision.
Somebody figure it out for me.
Right.
And I know that I'm, again, in my third trimester, and I'm tired, and it's my third kid, and we're working a lot, like lots and lots is going on.
Happening.
But I'm like, I'm so tired, and I'm tired of taking care of everyone.
Right. And then you go home from work, and then there's two little kids kind of hanging on you. And you're like...
So I know it's like the phase that I'm in right now, but I'm like, but it's really teaching me, it's having me look at a lot of my relationships and figure out why some of them are exhausting.
Yes, that's a very good point. And again, getting back to relationships, in terms of that we've talked about before, in terms of that we have the ability to pick relationships that work for us, and work with relationships that aren't working. And, and again, we have the choice. We can look at those relationships. We can talk with those people.
Right.
Have open dialogue and figure out, is this working?
Right.
Am I just giving? Are they just receiving?
Right.
Am I just receiving? Are they just giving?
Well, and am I finding my love, like, am I valuable only because I'm giving of love?
Right.
So sometimes I'm like, well,
good point.
Am I a good person? Are you still going to like me if I don't give you everything?
If I don't make that dinner for you?
If I don't make that dinner for you?
Or if I have to change those plans because I'm so tired?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am
exactly.
I still going to be lovable? Am I a good girl?
Am I a good girl?
Am I a good girl if I don't want to do that, if I need help, if I want to be on the receiving end of some of this, and so those are things that I know that I've in myself need to work on.
Yeah. And it's the same for the opposing person too, the receiving person.
Yeah.
That if people aren't telling me all the time
how lovable that you are, or loving on you,
or loving on me and filling my bucket that way.
Yes.
That if I don't have that in my life, am I still lovable?
Right. Good. Yes. And then it's like, okay, well, how much of that self-love needs to be built up?
Yes,
then
we got to kind of build that fire.
That
there.
Resilience, the fire, the deep belief that I am lovable. Mm-hmm. I am loving. I am lovable. Mm-hmm. So we as humans, of course, need one another and crave the connection, but so I don't think I don't think we could ever get to a point, or do I think it's healthy to get to a point where we only need this self-love and then whatever. I do think that creates an I am an island situation, but we can't rely on our lovableness based on our interactions with other people.
No, because that makes us feel very unsteady and very unsafe. Because we're then very dependent.
Then you're so dependent
on those relationships.
Absolutely.
And then you get in a precarious situation because maybe someone decides they don't like you anymore because that life happens. Who knows? And then you're like, who am I?
I'm not lovable because that person doesn't love me anymore. Now I'm not lovable.
Right. Then becomes that whole cascade of thought into I am unlovable. And then,
exactly.
Yeah. And that's.
Yeah. And then your worthiness is just down the tube. Like everything just kind of goes.
Right.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And
I think that's why I have those boundaries sometimes. Because I think
because you're like, you won't hurt me.
Right.
You won't make me question my
lovableness, because those are my glasses, right? So I'm always very hyper aware that I am unlovable,
right?
Even though logically I know I'm lovable, as we
quite
talked
lovable.
about before. But thank you.
You're quite lovable.
But I think I've learned over time just to be cautious because I know that's a very sensitive area for me. Mm-hmm. It's kind of my root. Mm-hmm. My root. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean there.
Yeah. No, I think you're...
So then it's like, if I let someone in, then even then, I always think, well, maybe they'll end up not liking me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. So then that's happened in my life many times.
Yeah.
And I've also had many people come into my life and stay there.
Right.
So, but I'm kind of open to either way.
Right.
I'm not,
you're not basing your entire self-worth on how other people feel about you.
Right. And I did that in my youth for a long time.
Did you?
Yeah. Because I was like, how I looked and how entertaining I was and all that stuff. And
yeah.
And ultimately that feels kind of like at the end of the day, you still feel kind of empty. Mm-hmm. Like your bucket's kind of empty.
Or do you just feel like you constantly crave it because that's how your bucket fills?
Right. Or you're constantly craving it. It's tiring.
And it's tiring.
It's tiring because you're constantly like looking around like,
who's going to give me attention now?
How about you? How about you? How about you?
I'm going to entertain you so that you love me.
Right. And then you're like, I'm tired now. I'm not going to entertain anymore.
Sure. Interesting.
So I think it is that balance. I love the triad idea.
Me too.
Of really receiving, giving, and self-love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it feels kind of like the triad to a stool, like the legs of a stool, like a sturdy little stool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think it's realistic to think, like I don't need anybody, because I don't basically understanding that giving and receiving love is probably one of the greatest things about life, but also having that self-love there, that our relationships, as they ebb and flow and come and go, they don't rock us completely
to the core.
Off of our foundation.
They don't knock our stool over.
Yeah, knock our stool over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't want it because if
we got to sit on that.
If you got all the three legs and they're kind of balancing there, but what if one leg gets kind of short and then you're like, oh, I sat on it and I fell down.
Now I'm going to fall.
Yeah, now I'm going to
fall.
Yeah,
totally.
And it kind of feels that way when we're kind of out of alignment. I think where we go sit on the stool and then we're like, whoa, what's happening?
It's also interesting to think look at where we give, where we receive. Like I feel like with my friends, I give a lot of love. But at home,
Rob,
my husband is such a giver of love. Like at home, he is the thing that fills me up. Like he loves on me so much.
Mike, are you listening now?
But it's like, it's interesting to then be like, oh, well, I wonder, just questioning, okay, I wonder how balanced all of this is, and then just me as a partner, I'm so used to like getting all, would you like tea? Can I rub your back? Like all that stuff. But I don't always offer it back to him because I feel like I'm giving a lot throughout the day and then I come home and then I like get filled back up.
Right.
But then I wonder how fair that is to him. Like,
I wonder how he feels though, if he likes to give at home because maybe he receives during the day.
I think he loves to give love.
He loves to give, but he receives a lot of love too.
He does. Yeah, he's a very lovable guy.
Yeah, because everyone's like, "Oh, Rob, he's so sweet. Really sweet. He's so nice." Yeah.
But it's but I also think he has a really strong self-love foundation too.
He does. Yeah.
He's very, very steady in who he is.
Yes.
Like I always think, like, for those of you who don't believe in reincarnation, I don't know if I do. But if that is a thing, I'm like, oh, you have been around the block. Like you do not get rocked by very much.
Right.
You are very, very steady.
Right. Which I think is...
Yeah, he is. He
is steady, and he does have that sense of steadiness
It's
to him.
very hard to get him riled up.
Yeah.
And he, it's very hard to hurt his feelings. It's very hard, like, he's very grounded in his sense of self.
Yes.
And I think I would be an entirely different person if I were married to somebody who wasn't that way.
No, he's the perfect. I mean, it's a really good match for you.
Well, because I'm very volatile.
Very volatile.
And he's always like, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Think about this first.
Slow down.
Slow down, lady.
Slow down. Maybe you're not going to do anything with that right now.
I know. He's like, no. Don't be so reactive. I'm like, oh yeah, good point.
You're like, okay, I guess I won't.
I'm passionate. And he's like, no, you're crazy. But I think these are just really cool. Like it's fun to explore. I'm excited to explore some of this like in much more depth and detail in our workshops starting in just a couple days.
Yeah, in Tulum, Mexico.
It's actually really planning this Let Love In workshop has really been interesting for me to evaluate my relationship with love, which types I think are safe, the input, output, all of that. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Even our relationships. kind of figuring, like, where are we in our relationships in terms of this concept of love? And
I came to a really interesting conclusion, and I asked Bernice this. I said, is this weird? But I said, and maybe this is a protection thing. I don't know what this is. Maybe this is a phase of my life. Not sure. But I said, the only people that I really, really, really care if they love me are my mom, my husband, and my kids. Mm-hmm. But if anybody else stops loving me for any reason, I'll be okay. But it's those people that I think that would kill me if my kids or my husband or my mom didn't love me.
Yeah, and I agreed.
Yeah.
Do you feel similar? I feel the same way. Yeah. I feel like they're my foundation.
Yeah, totally.
Like I've built this foundation. We have.
Absolutely my immediate, my husband and
they know everything.
They know everything.
They know everything. So if they leave, or if, then it's like, oh, geez.
I am unlovable.
Oh, thanks for telling me. Couldn't you have told me sooner?
Right.
Or even when your children, as they grow up, I'm like, oh, what if they don't like me?
Right.
But they don't have to like me, but I hope they
don't have to like you. And they're going to go through phases that they don't like you.
Which Kaylee's been helping me through a few times as my big kids have been getting older.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing to just take note of, that I'm not going to die if they don't like me. And I always want them to know that I love them.
Right, exactly.
I may not agree with them. They may not agree with me.
Right.
But I love them, and I hope they love me.
My mom used to tell me as a kid, she's like, I love you, but I do not like you right now.
That's the old teenage thing.
I know. That was definitely the teenage phase. And there are some people who, yes, their partner stops loving them. Their, parents maybe have never loved them. Like, these are situations that also teach us about love and set us up for different, situations. Just really interesting to think about, like, just to start or continue the process of, what is my relationship with love? Where are my boundaries, even in a space of love?
Yes.
What boundaries do I need to set up with people so that I can continue to love myself, so that I'm not drained, so that my cup isn't run completely dry? Like, I don't know, just thinking about this stuff has been really interesting for me lately. I love these workshops. I get so much out of them.
I know. The last one, we just did one last week, and I came home, and my poor husband, I'm like, let's go to dinner. And my son was spending the night at someone's house, and so we could go out for quite a while. And of course, we start having dinner, and I'm like, I feel like you don't listen to me and don't know the real me. And he was just like, uh-oh.
He's like, I hate those workshops.
Uh-oh. Because you get so triggered, about, like, are we in the right place here?
Right.
But it was a very good conversation
I'm sure it was.
And I tend to be dramatic, as everybody knows. I tend to be like, well, that's it then, I guess. You don't know the real me. He's like, well, I think I do after 28 years. But again, how thankful I am for that workshop to just, prompt me into, let's have the discussion tonight.
Let's just talk about this. And he knows you are going to approach it with a dramatic flair. Yeah. And then he lets you.
He has to be. He makes some joke. Yeah. And then I'm like, it's not funny. This could be the end of my life. Just trying to communicate this to you. The importance of connection, of being heard and seen and felt, and that women have voices too, and you will not silence me. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, gosh, these poor guys.
I know. What a time, huh?
Oh, jeez. Good times.
Good times.
Anyway, thanks. This was a weird one, you guys.
It was a weird one. Thank you for listening to us.
It was that mocha.
It was the mocha set us over the edge. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.